Now, this is all about how you are going to plan your next few days, right, in order to go for the best result. Am I clear? So best result in the sense, Lamai, in our class that I always ask students try for a 9A. Am I clear? Try to get a 9A. Because Lamai, when it comes to O level, right, when it comes to English medium students, it's the first hurdle in your life. You understand? So it's like the first hurdle in your life. So once you can jump nicely, once you can jump successfully, right, above that hurdle, definitely Lamai, all the other exams in Sri Lanka that you can do it. Did you understand? So personally, I believe that. So since O level is the first hurdle in your life, that you have to build a confidence that I can get a good result. Did you understand? That you have to build a confidence. Yes, definitely that I can get a good result. That is the confidence that you all need to have, right? Therefore, number one is you need to build the confidence within you. Definitely I can do this, Kela, right? You have to build the confidence. Hari. Now, Lamai, some of you all might be thinking like first language is difficult for me, right? Some other subjects are difficult for me. So how can I get an high name? Did you understand? So this relevant lesson is difficult for me. Science is okay, but chemistry is little bit difficult. So you all, some people might have thinking like that. Did you understand? A thinking pattern like that. But remember, Lamai, when it comes to O level, if you have the confidence, that confidence will definitely help you, right? Later that I'll speak about my personal experiences also. That confidence will definitely help you in order to get the 9A, in order to get a good result. Did you all understand? So when it comes to this confidence, in the last 2 months, how you are going to build this confidence, right? In the last 2 months, how you are going to build the confidence. In my plan, there are two important sections. In order to build this confidence, Lamai, this confidence nikang enne naha. In order to build this confidence, number one, you should be okay with the theory. Did you understand? Number one, you should be okay with the theory. Theory means Lamai, the entire grade 10 and grade 11 syllabus. Theory means the entire grade 10 and grade 11 syllabus. And then Lamai, you have to do past papers. Right? First the theory and Lamai, then you have to do the past papers. Right? You have to be okay with the theory and you have to do past paper. So in the plan that I am going to give you today, that I have covered both this theory and the past paper. Only if you, right, are okay with these two areas, that you can definitely go for a 9A, right? A in all the subjects, right? So why that I mentioned past paper here, Lamai? Because, right, I know that no teacher can make a paper, no teacher can set a paper which is similar to a past paper. Did you understand? Which is similar to a past paper, right? Which is in the same standard as the past paper, right? We discuss papers, right? And you all might have done a lot of papers in other classes. But still, past paper kiyanne lamai, it's a different level. Did you understand? Past paper is a different level. Okay, so if you know how to handle a past paper only, that you can go for a 9A. Without knowing how to handle the past paper, how to do the past paper within that time limit, right? Really difficult, Lamai. Therefore, when it comes to past paper, you need to do from 2016 up until 2024. This is more than enough. From 2016 to 2024, more than enough. Now, in subjects like science or math, sometimes you can try like 2010, 11, 12. But I would rather recommend you to go from 2016 to 2024. Perfect. Am I clear, Lamai? From 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 9 years of past papers. Because 2016 is the year where the syllabus got changed. Therefore, if you can do the 9 years of past papers, Lamai, 2025 O-level paper will be a 10th past paper. That's it. Therefore, you have to be okay with the theory and you have to do past papers. So while you are doing this, Lamai, you can try other papers. Right now in our history commerce classes that we discuss mock paper, unit wise papers, that is fine. But as a self-study, as a part of your self-study, that you have to do the past papers, right? 100% important. Therefore, in the plan that I'm going to give you today, that I have focused mainly on two areas. One is the theory, the other one is the past papers, right? One is the theory and the other one is the past paper. Hurry. Now let's go to the plan, Lamai. Then after this, if you have any questions, right? I know that you might have questions. You can ask the questions from me. Hurry. Right. So did you share the recording? I have put this into recording. Once this is done, right? Once the session is done, I'll share the recording with you all. Okay? I'll upload it to the channel. Right? Okay. Then Lamai, the first segment, the first section of this is theory work. I have named this as theory work. Why? Because, right, if you, by this time Lamai, if you don't learn the theory, very difficult to go for a good result. Am I clear? Theory is very important because out of the theory only that they are going to ask questions. Am I clear? So within that theory limit only Lamai, that they are going to ask the questions. Right? Without the theory, how can they set a paper? That's the most important area, right? They are going to ask questions out of this theory area only. So, Lamai, in our plan that I have given from December 3rd to January 19th, from December 3rd to January 19th, we will be covering the theory. Am I clear? I want all of you to learn the theory. Go through the lessons once again, make sure that you are 100% confident and go through the theory, right? So starting from today, Lamai, that you can change the subjects. For history, I have given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Am I clear? For history that I have given 5 days. Within these 5 days, you need to cover history, Lamai. Right? Other classes you can have, other exams you can have a lot of issues or anything, but still, right? But still you need to make sure that however, right? I will be covering the theory. Kela, that you have to start off with the history theory and cover it within the 5 days. Am I clear? You have to cover the history theory within the 5 days. So within 5 days, how you are going to do that? Term test and all, Lamai, even right within the term test time period, no issue that you should learn. Am I clear? If not, even after O levels, you can complain. I had term test. Okay, so term test is not a reason, right? If you want to do, you must do this. That's it. Am I clear? This is the final plan. Okay, from the term test, they are not giving the marks for O levels, now my A or B's. Therefore, this is the final plan, right? However, that you need to do this. History grade 10 and grade 11 syllabus, you need to finish within 5 days. That is the target. Am I clear? That is the target that I am giving to you all. Right? Within 5 days that you need to cover the history theory. Only if you can do so, right? Only if you can do so, definitely that you can go for a good result. Within the 5 days. How you are going to do that? How many hours that will take? That doesn't matter. Right? You have to sit in one place from morning up until the night. Or else even the next day, don't know that you need to work. That's it. Because now, the last 2 months, now you don't have time, right? So I'm speaking for all the level of people. Sometimes some students are very bright. From the very beginning, they might have done something, right? But still there can be some students from the beginning, they did not, right, learn properly. Now at the final moment that they are going to learn. But for any of these students, this plan will work. Am I clear? So when it was near to O levels, even I had a plan like this, right? I can remember not last 2 months, last 3 months. So I had some more days. But still, here am I within 5 days that you need to cover the theory, right? Within the 5 days, you have to cover the theory. Within the 5 days, if you can cover the theory, that's the best thing that you can do. Did you all understand? So once after you cover the theory, now you are confident. I know the theory. Am I clear? Definitely I can do this well, Kela, that you are confident. Then Lamai, starting from December 8th and finishing on December 11th, that you can study. So I have just put the subjects. If you want, you can change it. You can study health or ICT. Am I clear? Health or ICT, any of the subjects. Within the 4 days, you have to cover. Then you can divide. On the first day, how many chapters that I'm going to learn, right? Is it 1 to 5? Then 5 to 10 this day. So likewise, you can divide the chapters to these 5 days. Here you can write down the chapters. If it is history, unit number 1 to 4, I will be learning on the first day. Then 4 to 8 on the second day. Then 8 to 10, and then the grade 11 unit number 2 I'm going to learn this day. So likewise, you have to divide it, the theory. You have to divide the theory and you have to allocate it to the days. Did you understand? Then starting from the December 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, that you can come up with another plan in order to study the commerce. Now, when you study commerce, lamai, accounting, nothing to memorize, no. There is no any theory in accounting. So what you can do is you have to just go through the questions, right? You have to just do the question. That is how that I did. And also, lamai, then for a subject like maths, I have given a lot of days, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So within 9 days, you have to cover. So how to cover the theory of maths? What do you mean by theory of maths? When it comes to maths, lamai, you need to answer the past paper questions, right? Or else, if you have any term test papers or any papers that you have to go through that and you have to answer those questions, right? Maths. And then, lamai, from 25th, 26, 27, up until the 1st of January, you can study the science. Now you can divide, right? On 25th of January in science, what area that I'm going to learn. Now, one important thing when it comes to science, personally, that I studied it as, rather than grade 10 and 11, I studied it as biology, chemistry, physics. You can divide it like that, biology, chemistry, physics, or else you can divide it as grade 10, grade 11, and then study. You have to divide the you have to divide the subjects into number of days, and you can study, right? You can have a plan, something like that. Did you all understand? 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, up until 31, that you complete the science. Science is also done. Somehow that you need to do this, Lamai. I know sometimes it is not practical. Am I clear? Sometimes it is not practical, but you have to sit in one place, get the motivation, right? Confidence that I can do this, Kela. Am I clear? Somehow that you need to do this. If you can't do this, Lamai, then you have to forget about the good result. So that is why that I say this is a game-changing plan, right? If you can do this, definitely that you can do. Ehema bari nang lamai, that will be difficult. Am I clear? Therefore, this is the plan that I followed. Am I clear? This is the plan that I followed. Morning 6 a.m. if I sit on my table to study, right? That I study up until 11, 12 in the morning, a small break, lamai. Again in the afternoon, a small nap. Again in the evening, full day, right? If I had a 2-hour class, that's a different story, because when we were doing O-levels, Corona, COVID-19 time period, so I had a lot of time for self-study and also class with product online, right? Therefore, lamai, we have to do something like that. Am I clear? Now, how many hours it will take? I have school event, I have school exam, right? I have that and this wedding house, that house, this house, that doesn't matter. If you want to do that, lamai, you have to leave this and do that. Am I clear? But if you want to get a 9A, your 100% focus has to be here. Right? All the people who have got good result, ask from them, they have followed a plan like this. This is the plan that I followed. This is the plan that I followed, and I think this plan will work for everyone. Now, when it comes to science, you have to divide the subjects into number of days. On first day, how many chapters in biology I am going to learn. On the second day in biology, how many chapters that I am going to learn. Third day, right, biology. Then the other day, you start off with the physics, chemistry. So likewise, Lamai, you go through the line and you try to finish the entire syllabus. You try to finish the entire syllabus. Without finishing the syllabus, without learning the theory, don't ever think of writing for a paper and getting an A pass. Am I clear? Without being 100% confident in the theory, right? Without memorizing the theory, without understanding the theory, it is very difficult. Right? Difficult means, lamai, amaru. You can't do that. Did you understand? In order to get a 9A, in order to get a good result, you need to be okay with the theory. Because, lamai, they set the paper from whatever the things that is there in your book. Am I clear? They can't get questions out of that. Therefore, you have to be 100% okay with the theory. Then, lamai, in my plan, January 2nd, I start Islam. Okay. Right. Wait, in the Q&A session, I'll answer those. Hari? Right. Okay, Adib. Now, January 2nd to 6th, that you have to study Islam. You have to memorize it especially. Yeah. So, I had these students who got good results in other subjects, even A for maths, right? Even A for maths. But Islam, some students E-pass. There are students, right? Therefore, all the subjects, all the 9 subjects, you have to give equal importance, right? You have to give equal importance. All the subjects are equal, right? Now, for a student, now in Sri Lanka, since you get a pass for maths and science, you don't get a job, no, right? Somewhere you don't get a job. But people think like that, they don't get a job. Even engineers are finding jobs, Therefore, all the subjects are equal if you want to get a 9A. Did you understand? But if it's not like that, now you are trying to do maths, get a good result, and try to do something, a course related to that, that's a different story. All right. But here, now everyone is there in the O level, right? O level. Therefore, you need to study these things, all the 9 subjects in an equal level and try to get a 9A lamai. Did you all understand? Right. So, when you are learning the theory, don't do the past paper. Right? In subject like maths, you can, because those are questions, no. But in other subjects like theory subject, Islam, history, health, theory subjects, don't try the past paper. You have to study the theory. Okay, now you have to go through the theory. You have to memorize the theory. That is how that you do. Hurry. Then my English literature. Right? When it comes to English literature, you have poem, prose, drama, novel, right? So by this time, Lamai, right? Within this time, you have to fully read and understand the novel also. That is how that I did. Am I clear? So I can remember I read the novel for 3 times in grade 10, grade 11. Within that 2 years, I read the novel for 3 times. Sorry, Vendor of Sweet. I did Vendor of Sweet. There is something called Prince and the Pauper, and other one that I can't remember. So any prose lamai, any novels that you have to read that also, and also you have to memorize the quotations of the poem. Right? You have to memorize the quotation of the poem, understand the prose, memorize the important prose, and all. So when it comes to prose lamai, for an essay question, that I'll speak later. When it comes to for an essay type question, now in the prose there are 4 prose, no, Nightingale and the Rose, Lumber Room, Wave, and then Lahore Attack. So out of that lamai, no, I didn't like that Wave by Sonali Dharanyagala. Other 3 are okay for me. So what my plan was, if it comes for the exam, I will be writing 1 out of these 3. Here, I will be writing 1 out of these 3. And lamai, for poem, what I did was, I took 2 themes. Right? I can remember I took the theme of conflict. Right? I can't remember lamai that much. Conflict. Number 2, I took the theme of nature. So I studied those 2 themes very well. Conflict and the nature. So out of conflict and the nature, whatever the question they ask, I can. Did you understand? So out of those 2 themes, I think that I can remember, I wrote Liua. Did you understand? Out of those two themes. Right. So if you write without the quotation, what will happen is like they know that you don't know. Right? Okay, Amma? So if you write without quotation, they will get to know that you don't know much. Therefore, you need to write down the quotation. Okay, quotation is important. Therefore, between the 7 to 12, that is why that I have given 6 days. You have to memorize. Okay, that you have to memorize. You have to go through the poem, understand the meaning, go through the post, understand the meaning, drama. Now, in the drama, Lamai, from the very beginning, I had the idea to write the Twilight of a Crane. Right? Now, Bear and the Twilight of a Crane is there. No? From the very beginning, that my plan is for an essay type question, right? For a part 2 question that I will be writing Twilight of a Crane. Anyways, it will be coming now to the paper. So I wrote that. Then other. So you have to analyze Lamai. Within this time, while learning the theory, while memorizing, you have to analyze. You have to analyze what are the questions that I am going to give the priority. First language. First language is the most difficult subject for English medium students. On one side, Lamai, it is unfair also. When it comes to Sinhala students, Sinhala medium or Tamil medium students, for them it is okay. Right? For them it is okay. But for us, product difficult. Now, Lamai, when I was also doing O-levels, right? If someone asks from me like, how much confidence you have in O-levels, My confidence was mainly 8A. Did you understand? Tamil, I thought I will be getting a B pass. Right? I thought I'll be getting a B pass. But Lamai can't help, no. We have to learn that. When it comes to first language, you have two sections, no. One is that grammar area, essay writing, right? Answering to the passage or something, underlining, MCQ and all, that grammar. I developed that grammar by doing past papers only. Trust me, I did Tamil. I did Tamil first language. I improved that by doing past papers only. MCQs, right? In MCQ, every time I get like 33, 34 only, right? After that I came home after O levels, I just checked my MCQ. In my final paper also, I have got only 34 correct. Only 34 correct. Normally my range is 32, 33, 34. But I improved it from 27, 28, 29 range. I improved up until 32, 33, 34. Above 35 lamai difficult for me. Am I clear? Above 35 was difficult, but my range was 32, 33, 34. Shape ne. Hari. Now lamai, in order to improve that grammar area, you need to do past papers. From now itself, you have to start. Did you understand? So you have to write down essays. You have to write down essays for that. Did you understand? You have to write down a lot of essays. Okay, you have to write down a lot of essays. So when you are writing, I think that you are inside the exam hall. That's the problem, right? The place that where you are studying, you don't feel it like the exam hall or something, right? You have to feel like this is I'm writing in my final exam, in my O-level exam, Kela, that you need to write down. In order to improve the grammar, past papers is the only thing. And if you have any other paper, provincial papers, zonal papers, or mock papers, you can do those, or the papers given by your teachers, right? Class teachers. Honey. Then Lamai, in order to improve that the second area, right? What we call it as Sahitya Sangrahaya, right? Tamil, I can't even remember, right? Our book is there, that Navala Relindar, Mutamma. So those things are there, right? What is that? Literature, no? I remember. தொகுப்பு தமிழ் இலக்கியம் இலக்கியம் அண்ணா ஹரி இலக்கியம் ஓகே தமிழ் மொழி அல்ல தமிழ் இலக்கியம் yes தமிழ் இலக்கியம் හරි தமிழ் ඉලක්කයම එතකොට සිංහලෙන් කියන සිංහල සාහිත්‍ය සංග්‍රහය හරි தமிழ் ඉලක්කயம் so when it comes to தமிழ் ඉලක්කயம் තමයි number one thing is when you are learning the theory that you need to understand without understanding you can't write down an answer. Because the questions they ask is like the literature paper. No. Without you understand, you are flat. You can't do that. Right? You have to understand. Now, within this theory time period, now when you are learning, if you get a doubt, don't move forward with the doubt. Don't ever move forward with the doubt. Quickly give a call to your teacher or drop a message and get the doubt cleared. The biggest problem is students move forward with the doubt. Only 2 marks, no. Then later, that 2 marks can be the decisive factor where you will be getting an A pass or B pass. Therefore, when you have a doubt, you can ask from your teacher. And Tamil ara Ilakkiyam, Sinhala Sahitya Sangrahaya, the literature part, I memorize the quotations mainly. When it comes to poems, I memorize the quotations in a way that just like I am writing by looking at the book, right? So just like that, I copyright. So person who is marking the paper will understand, right? These students knows to memorize well, right? These students have memorized well and understood the concept and has written a good answer. Did you all understand? Therefore, you need to understand. Understanding is not only enough. You have to memorize, right? That is the two part when it comes to O-level, understanding, memorizing. But in some areas, if you don't understand also, no problem, just memorize and write down, right? So don't think, I did not understand, no, mata amarui, no. At least try to memorize and write down. And also one important thing, is there anyone who is having this problem? Now, right, if they ask you to write down Monahari, right? We'll say Mannan, right? They are asking you to write down Mannan. Tamil kattiyata kiyanne Mannan. But still for me, rendu sollinana, moonu sollinana, this one, it's getting confused to me. It's getting confused. But remember, in the first language paper, they won't check that. If they check that, lamai, definitely that I will not get an A pass. They will not check that. Did you all understand? First language paper, if you have problem like that, right? Is there anyone who's having this problem? Sinhalen nang ara mehema liyan ekata you write down like this. Do you have anyone have this problem? I have this problem. Why? Right? Because right, I don't like what the language other than English. Sorry. So now I forgot Tamil totally, and now I am okay with Sinhala. I don't know why. You all have that problem now. Since you don't have that problem, Lama, you don't have to break your confidence. You can. Right? Even with this problem only, Lama, I got an A pass. Right? I got an A pass. But the way that I am writing, 100% confidence. Right? The person who marks the paper will think, right? I am the eldest brother of Navalar, right? Armuga Navalar, right? So he'll think like that. That much of memorizing and understanding the concept and writing nicely, analyzing the concept. They ask you to write down about Muttamma or Sirihade. Nicely write down your ideas, your point of view, right? So for Sinhala students, right? Yala විචාර ලියන්න කිව්වොත් ඔයාලා ලියන්න ඕනේ හරි පැහැදිලිව nicely, right? Sinhala students and Tamil first language students, you have to write down your opinion, your view, whatever the quotation that you memorize, put it somewhere. In English literature, in first language lamai, what I do is the quotation that I memorize, I insert it somewhere. Kohe hari liyana. Did you understand? I take that to that point and I write down it. Am I clear? Whatever the quotations that you memorize, try to insert it somewhere and come. Because without the quotation, I don't think the analysis, the vichara part will be clear. You have to insert the quotation somewhere and come. Therefore, for the first language, I have given the date up until 19, the last date. Alright. Now, in this plan, lamai, English is not there. Right now, you are English medium students, right? And then English is easy for you all now. But if any government school student, that means right, people who feel like English is difficult, what they can do is they can just go through English also. But in English, if it's enough, you can do past paper. Right now, if you have any issues in the theory, you can ask from me. Right? If you have any issues in the theory, not the past paper, not those questions, any theory in learning that out of these subjects, any questions that you have within this subject. If you have any questions? If you have any questions, you can ask from me. Tagalahan. How studies and memories history and Islam. Hari. Now one trick that I'll explain lamai, how to memorize history and Islam. Now one important thing that you can do is like when it comes to history and Islam, you can make questions and learn. Okay, now you learn, we'll say unit number 1 of the history. While you are going through that, you make questions like what are the 2 types of sources of studying history? You don't need to write down the answer, just write down the question, right? Just write down the question. Later, on the next day, when you are learning the next chapter, just look at the question that you have made the previous day. And if you can find the answers, now you look at the question. What is the source of studying history? I can remember. What is the oldest source? Deeper answer. I can remember. So you just try to figure it out the answers. Islam is also same, right? You make the questions and learn. That is the way how that I did also, right? In the maths, if the proving questions, you can only develop by doing questions. At least do 10-15 questions, right? Hari. Now, when it comes to science, Lamai, how you are going to study? When it comes to science, now, the sad part of science is, Lamai, when it comes to a country like Sri Lanka, right? Okay. Now, when it comes to a country like Sri Lanka, Lamai, they don't test your knowledge actually, right? I understood that in my science paper. They don't test your knowledge. Mainly, they test how much that you can remember the concepts. Did you understand? Now, I have told this in my history classes also. When it comes to science, Lamai, I was not okay with the subjects like electrochemistry, electromagnetism, right? However, how much that I try to study, that I don't understand it properly. Did you understand? So I don't like science. Now that is why even after getting an INA that I don't wanted to do the science. right? A lot of people told me, now you got a 9A, no? So you should do science. And by that time, I saw a lot of people who are lost and done and dusted after getting 9A and choosing bio. Did you understand? Done and dusted. So I know that, and I did not choose science, but somehow I managed to get an A pass for science. How is that? Right? Now, Lamai, how in the science paper, now in the part two, I figure it out. In the part two, you have biology question, you have physics plus biology, and you have 100% physics question. Did you understand? And the biosphere question. What my plan is, if that unit comes, I won't be doing that. So if I am not to do those units, electrochemistry, electromagnetism, I have to be perfect in other areas. To be honest, biology, I can remember. Why? I can memorize well, no? That I memorized it well. Biology, lamai, something, some concepts, right, had a connection. Right. Then Lamai, in science, what I did was, I'm not okay with electrochemistry, electromagnetism, those lessons. So what my plan was, if those unit comes, that I'm going to, that I won't write down, that I won't choose that topic. If I am to do like that, right? If I was to do like that, I have to be confident in all the other units. So what I did was biology, 100% that I memorized. Now, when you are memorizing the biology, what can you do is you can make questions on your own and try to answer. You have to, when you are learning bio, try to make questions on your own. Am I clear? You can do something like that. When it comes to physics also, Lamai, is still some of the concepts that I don't understand, right? I went to some science, so many science classes, but still, since I am not interested in science, not the issues with the teacher, since that I am not interested in science, Lamai, only 1 month that I go, then I leave the class. Did you understand? So when I was doing O levels, Lamai, I was a different person at that time. Am I clear? Sorry. Then Lamai, what I did was physics also that I memorized most of the concept. There are experiments and all. So even though that I don't understand the experiments, I study the definition, I study the main area, right? What is the final conclusion of this experiment, the final observation of the experiment, then right, so that I can get an A pass. Somehow that I can get an A pass, at least a 75 marks A pass. Because Lamai somehow want to get an 9A, you know. So I can't choose this subject is difficult, this subject is easy. So what I did was I tried to memorize that and right. So some subjects that I understood, some lessons, but some lessons only that I did not understand. So the lesson that I did not understand, if it comes to the part two, that I did not choose that. In the science MCQ paper, Lamai, I got 34 marks. Later when I came home and when I checked, I got 34 marks. Do you understand? So yes, textbook, Lamai. For all the subjects, study the textbook, then use the tute of your teachers. Did you understand? In my history class also, in my commerce class also, that I ask students to do so. First you study the textbook, Lamai, right? Sometimes, right? Now, sometimes we don't include the least important thing in the tute, but that can be tested in O levels. Anyways, we are covering it to the questions. But the thing is, Lamai, please study the textbook. Textbook is the main thing. Am I clear? So there can be beautiful tutes and everything that your teachers give, but sometimes more than that in the textbook you have a lot of but information, the important information, therefore go through the textbook. Did you all understand? So now my biology that I memorized, physics understood, somehow understood, and chemistry also somehow understood. When it comes to part two paper, if I in 2020 paper check, there's a question about electrochemistry. Big container is there or electrochemistry, and I did not do that. I did the other areas, right? Somehow managed to get an A pass. Somehow managed to get an A pass. Did you all understand? So if you can't, if right now you have to memorize the things, Lamai, right? So you can't say that I can't memorize, that I don't have the memory power, that you have to memorize. Now, one important thing when it comes to memorizing is, as I told you, you can write down the questions and later on the next day you can find the answer. Now today that you learn everything, but going forward to the next 2 days, you won't remember what you learned on the first day. So for that, you have to take the piece of paper where questions are there on the first day that you wrote, come to the third day and check, right? So whether you can remember those. If you can't remember, again go to the theory. Am I clear? That is how that you have to do. Right. So any other question? I lost a lot of question because the meeting was interrupted in the middle. So let me know now. Any questions that you have? Any other questions that you have? Any other questions that you have? Any other question? Right, my class details I'll upload in the channel. You can look at that. All right, tell me now, any questions? I don't think your O level will get post, but January A level is there. No, not sure. We'll see. So is it better to skip the term test rather than getting demotivated from the marks? Like this, it is better to skip the term test. It's kind of illegal question, right? Like this, what I would recommend is just write down, Atif. Just write down the term test, whatever the marks that you get, and you can identify your mistakes. No, for example, in this area, for example, our history, Andean Kingdom, always you get a low marks. Then if it reflects in the term test also, then you can focus on that more. So the term test, Atif, this time identify your mistake. Don't care about the marks. This time identify your mistake. Okay, from the term test, identify your mistake. That would be okay. So what about others? Any question that you have? Any question? Any question that you have? So I am doing Sinhala. It is hard to study the textbook. What is get tarot in 2000? Why it is hard to study textbook, Kumar? Right? When it comes to not tarot, for the part one paper, grammar part, you don't have to study textbook. I mean for the Vicharalian, right? Or Sahitya, Sangrahaya Pota that you have to study. Am I clear? So is it better to study at night or morning when you have school? When you have school, better to study early morning, right? So if you have school, better to sleep like at around 11 and then wake up at around 4 in the morning and start studying. Okay. So if you have a school, don't stay up until late night, Lamai. Next day you will feel sleepy, right? So how to study maths? In maths also, you have to identify your mistakes, right? You have to identify your mistake. Number one, some units are easy for you all. So when you are learning the theory, don't focus much. But the lessons which are difficult for you, right? You can watch the recording of your class teacher. So somehow that you have to cover. Am I clear? And on deep education also, there are videos for maths and I think science also. So you can do like that, right? So this time when you are learning the theory, you have to do three important things, Lamai. One is you have to memorize. The other one is, Lama, you have to understand the concepts. Number three is you have to correct your mistake. Now, sometimes we'll say that you have misunderstood that. Then you have to correct it. You can, right, ask your teacher to explain it once more. And you can do that. Do you understand any doubts that you have, Lama? Right? In history, in commerce, my subjects, that normally that is what I do. Any other question you all have when it comes to theory? You can ask any question. Any question, sorry? Before we go into the past paper one, any question, right, about O levels and A levels? O levels. No, Atif, no. But for Islam, there are good teachers. One or two that one teacher that I know, I'd recommend it. Any other questions? No? Right. Then we'll go to the past paper and finally that will wind up with your questions. Sorry. Right. Now how to do the past papers, Lamai. So when it comes to past paper, you need to have past paper books. You need to have. So after 1.5 hours studying has how many minutes break? So after 2 hours of studying, around half an hour of break or 25 minutes maybe, right? You can take a small break like that. Am I clear? Small break like that. Right? We'll speak about this and come back to your questions again. Right. Now when it comes to past paper, Lamai, how you are going to do that? Now you have to keep a timer. Don't use the phone, nah? Right? Don't use the phone. When you are studying, Lamai, phone is a distraction. Phone is a distraction. Now, in this generation, Lamai, phone is the number one distraction. Right? Phone is becoming smart and smart and smart. Right? Students are becoming dumb and dumb and dumb. Did you understand? So I can see this, right? So in our generation, lamai, the biggest problem is the distraction problem. Sorry, right? So you have to keep away the phone, use a timer, and keep. For example, now we are going to do. I'll speak about my subject. To how to do past paper. Now we are doing history. Take the 2016 paper. Keep 40 minutes. 40 minutes tiyanna, right? So part 1 paper you will get, sorry, not 40 minutes, 1 hour. No? Keep 1 hour and do that, right? So within 1 hour you need to complete the 2016 paper. Before 1 hour, if you have completed, okay, that's no problem. Then Lamai get the marking scheme. By this time, right, I think that you will have the past paper books and everything. Take the marking scheme, take a red color pen and mark, right? Mark. And then put your marks. Now, when you are doing past paper, we'll say that you got a mistake, right? You understood it differently in mistaken manner, or else you can't remember. We'll say a question ask you, right? Who is the first husband of Kusumasana Devi? Now you have done a mistake. You have underlined something else. Then what you have to do is, with your past paper, take your theory book and check who is the first husband of Kusumasana Devi, second husband, third husband, කියලා, that you check your book. Now, check and identify your mistakes. Huh? Now, we'll say in the 25th question, they have asked you who made this locomotive engine. You have gone and underlined Wright brothers. Then you have to go to the grade 11, chapter number 1, sources of studying history. Go to that. This is wrong, no? That I have understood this in different manner, or else that I can't remember. I did not memorize this properly. Try to identify that mistake. So on the past paper, put a note. The correct answer is this. So that is how that you do past paper part 1. Now take the part 2 paper. Now take the part 2 history paper. You should write down the answers. You must write down the history essay type answers. You must write down the history essay type answer. Am I clear? Now, when it comes to history essay type answer, that there's a way how you have to write down that. Now, right, I'm not going to teach you here since you all go for different classes. So they are try to understand, right? When it comes to history, write down the essay type answers. Just like that you are sitting at one place and doing a paper for the 3 hour and 10 minutes, do it at home. I know the process is difficult. Am I clear? This is uncomfortable. This is not easy, right? This is not easy. But for last 2 months, you must do that. Did you understand, Hamai? Right. I'll tell about that, Amar. Now, did you all understand, Amai? Therefore, even though this is difficult, that you must do this. Am I clear? Sometimes it is difficult. I know, right? So you used to live a nice life where you don't study. Only 1 hour you study, right? Rest of the 5 hours you scroll and you have family functions, gathering, wedding and all. But here, not like that. Now you are locked into this. It is uncomfortable, but you have to do this, right? So this is my do or die game. People who can do will get a 9A. People who can't do will get a less result. Am I clear, Lamai? There are no third option. Only 2 options are there. 9A's or not. If you stick to this plan, right? If you forget about your sleeping, drinking, eating, wedding house, gathering, fun and all, distraction, you can do this. But if you want all the other things, on the day when the results are getting released, you will lose that. Am I clear? Only 2 options. Choose which is good for you, and I want all of you to choose this option, studying. Did you all understand? Therefore, you take the history part 2 paper, put the timer for 3 hours and 10 minutes. Ikka digada that you write down the answer. Am I clear? No break. 3 hours, 10 minutes. No break. Am I clear? 3 hours, 10 minutes. No break. So according to my plan, for a day, you need to study for around 12 hours. Right? For a day that you have to study for around 12 hours. Sometimes you need to sacrifice your sleep also, right? 4 or 5 hours of sleep. And the rest of the time, we'll say 2 hours for the class and everything. Do this. You should do this. Did you understand? Now, you should do this. If you feel like this class is not important for me, this seminar is not important for me, don't go for those things. Did you understand? Now, right, there will be a lot of free classes. Right? There will be a lot of free classes in O-levels are near. Personally, that I don't do that. You don't go for that if it is not important. If it is important, go there. But if it is not important, be at home and do this. Am I clear, am I? So you do 2016, 17, 18. Next day, 19, 20, 21, 20, 23, 24. You are confident. If you do in a way that I asked you with the timing, with the timer, correct your mistake. If now you do 2018 paper, right? You do the 2018 paper, right? Check the 2018 paper. I think in there is a question on the Renaissance. What is humanism, right? Is there any question like that? Right? Is there any question like that? Humanism. What is humanism? Question number here. Question number 7. Question number 7. I can remember like that. Is there any question? What is humanism? Right? I want to just check with my memory power. Is it there? Just take the 2018 past paper and check. Humanism? There. No? Hari, possible. Therefore, Lamai, you go through that. What is humanism? In 2018 paper, they have asked. But I can't remember. Then what you have to do is go through the book. Now you are reading. Humanism is the humanistic approach, considering man as a noble creature of the God. You read that. You don't understand. Right? Now you did a mistake. You don't understand. Third one, Lama, you have to drop a message to your teacher. Right? You have to drop a message to your teacher. In all the 9 subjects, Lama, build a small conversation with your class teachers, right? Especially tuition teachers. Hari, you can ask any question and they must reply for any questions. Did you all understand? So now earlier what I do is for other subjects that I recommend teacher, he is good Kela. But what happens is sometimes those teachers, when you drop a message, they reply only after 5 or 6 days. Right, like they are parliament members and president. Even within 1 or 2 days, we can contact Annakumar Disanayaka, but not those teachers, right? So then after Lamai, I stop that policy that I don't usually recommend other teachers, right? Because they don't reply for messages. In my class, Lamai, my policy is, right, whatever the messages that you drop me, that I will reply quickly. Am I clear? Now you all know that, no? Sometimes you send a message at 8:56, I reply at 8:57. Right? Or else you can send me message at asking your doubts 1 or 2 in the midnight, no problem. 12 in the midnight. If I am up, I will answer your question. There's no rule, right? After 11 p.m. you can't contact even. Did you understand? Somehow your work needs to be done. Did you understand? Because Lama, you are paying and going for a class, that is your parents' money, right? Even we have gone for classes, no? We have gone for classes. Therefore, we know that there is a responsibility mainly that a tuition teacher has more than a school teacher. Right, in this century, in this time period, right now in Sri Lanka, tuition teachers are the main people who are there with the education. So we have the responsibility to push you forward, right? Not just teaching for the 4 days in a month and taking the money and going home, not like that. Therefore, any questions you have, drop a message and try to find a solution. Try to find a solution for that problem. Then the next day you go to the health, ICT, same thing you repeat. Commerce, maths, do the questions. In the maths, what I did was, now sometimes on the past paper already you might have done the question. No? Get a fresh printout, and usually that I do that. Am I clear? So on the final day after finishing my O levels, I can remember one subject that I had a file like this. You don't understand? For one subject, file like this. Second subject, file like this. And all the files that I have written, answers, papers, and everything. You take a fresh printout, keep that, write down the answer. That is how that you need to do. You do the complete past paper, then science also like that. Literature, write down the essay type answer. The biggest issue is when you are doing past papers for English literature, students don't write down the answers. Students don't write down the answers. Write down answers to the poems, to the prose, to the novels, to the drama. Am I clear? You have to do. First language also, am I? Underlining question, you have to check. What are the areas that I go wrong? Why is this? I have to correct it. Because in the 2025 paper, if they ask, I am lost, right? Therefore, you have to correct that mistake. So when you are doing past paper, Lamai, you can test your memory power. When you are doing past paper, sometime even though you have learned the theory, now in our previous plan, you have learned the theory, but you can't remember the past paper, you remember the answer. Then you can check your memory power and correct it. Again, you have to go through that. Number 2 is Lamai, you can correct your writing skills. Did you all understand? If it's a subject like literature and Lamai, you can correct your writing skills. Right? You can correct your writing skills. The way how you are playing with the words and try to build up a good answer. Then other. So that is how that you have to do. So in English literature, how to answer the context question, Shahid? Now I can remember those days that I used to put quotations and write down. Better to ask from your class teacher. Did you understand? Better to ask from your class teacher mainly. Sorry. Now, Lamai, while you are parallelly doing the past paper in your classes, by this time syllabus needs to be done, completed, and in your classes also that you need to do papers, right? Now in our history class, we do mock papers. 4 papers are done. Next month, the second tube. Then in the commerce classes, unit-wise papers that we do, right? Likewise, in all the classes, by this time, you have to do the papers. By this time, Lamai, if you all are still doing the theory, and if you have around 8 to 10 lessons of theory, Lamai, I don't think that it is successful. Did you all understand? So, right? If that's the case, you can get the recordings from another class, or you can change or something, or you can just ask the teacher to complete the syllabus quickly. Now, in our history syllabus, we completed it before 3 months to the O levels, commerce syllabus 4 months before the O levels. Did you understand, Lamai? Therefore, we did it slowly, not speed also. We did it slowly. From grade 10 itself, we are doing it slowly. Therefore, Lamai, by this time, we'll say in your subject, you have another 10 lessons left to do, right? 7 lessons, theory lessons left to do. Then that is a problem, no, Lamai. You can't complete the theory, no. Did you all understand? At least by the second week of December, all the tuition teachers should complete the syllabus. In school, sometimes you don't understand, but they should complete the syllabus. Then only that you can nicely learn the theory. Am I clear? Therefore, if that's the case, first study the subjects where the theory has been already completed. Okay. And then you can do the past papers. So past papers is the main thing in order to correct your mistake. Without the past papers, very difficult. Am I clear? Now, the same thing before 4 months, 5 months, I told you past papers you have to do for around 2 times, but now you don't have time. For the final shot, do it well. Am I clear? No, that is not Lejas, that is mandatory, Atif. No level, it is mandatory. Right. Now this is the theory and past paper. Now what you have to do is, Lamai, get a print out of this. Now on December 3rd, starting from today, study according to this plan. Okay. If you study, Lamai, guarantee you can get a good result. If you have your plans, that is fine. But this is the plan that I did, but before 3 months, but this is also a good plan. Now you learn history first day, you highlight that. Second day also, Lamai, you highlight that. Did you all understand? Third day also you highlight, fourth day highlight. Did you understand? So likewise, once after this entire handout, once after this entire documents get highlighted only, you can feel I have done this much of work. Once after entire, now you do the 2016 past paper, highlight, 2017 highlight, 2018 highlight, 2019 highlight, 20 highlight, 21 highlight, 22, 23, 24. Once after that you see it is filled with the highlighters, colors, Lamai, you are so much confidence. Am I clear, Lamai? Now O level is a game that you have to play with the confidence, right? You have to build your confidence, right? So you have to build your confidence, Lamai, right? So this is not you have to do in a practical mind, like whether I can do this or not, Lamai, that doesn't matter. Did you understand? Whether you can do this or not, you must do that. Did you all understand, Lamai? Whether you can do this or not, that doesn't matter. You need to do this. Am I clear? Now, once this entire document fills with your highlighter, then you are confident, right? I have done this much of work, right? I have done this much of work. Therefore, that you can do this. Did you understand? But Nafha, what I did was this. But if it is okay for you, then you can do that as well. Am I clear? But why I did is like that is, once after you finish the theory, once after that you finish the theory, when you go through the past paper, you can test your memory power. Once after finishing the theory of that subject, if you quickly jump into the past paper, anyways, you can remember recently that you have completed. Did you all understand now? So that is how that you normally do that. Am I clear? So that is the way how you have to do the past papers. That is how that you needs to do the past paper. So past paper is the most important thing. So if you can do like this, Lamai, if you can do like this, right, definitely guarantee, right, you can get a 9A, right? Definitely guarantee that you can do a 9A, get a 9A, right? Definitely that you can get a 9A. Okay, Lamai. Therefore, this is the way how you have to study. This is the way how you have to study, right? Now, sometimes, Lamai, you will feel like, no, this is not that much practical. Practical and not practical is a different thing, Lamai. You have to do this, right? Somehow, once you do this and you fill this entire document with the highlighter, you are confident. I can remember, Lamai, when I was doing O levels also, once after that I complete, I quickly highlight. Now it's like kind of a satisfaction. I have done this much of things, Kayla, right? So that is like, I can feel that confidence within myself, right? I can feel that confidence within myself, right? And I have faced that also, Lamai, right? Before me, one of my senior who got an high name. I have pasted that result sheet also on my wall. Do you all understand? So that's the way how you have to build the confidence, right? So this is all about your plan. This is the plan that I did for O level. This is the way that I did for A level, right? And also this is the way any study that I'm doing it currently as well. Sorry. Therefore, confidence, theory, past paper, correct your mistake. Now, Lamai, once you correct your mistake, if no mistakes are left, right? If you reduce your mistake level, 75% you have to be perfect, right? A pass means what, Lamai? 75% perfect, 25% imperfect. But no problem. Using that 75% perfectness, you can get a 9A. Did you all understand? Therefore, this is the plan that you need to follow. Now it's open to your question, right? Whatever the questions that you are having. Whatever the questions that you are having, just let me know. Right now, I will ask your questions, answer your questions. Right, number one question, sir. Yes, is that the question? Yes, you have to draw the ledgers. Okay, Atib, complete one. Any other question? And I can remember someone asked from me about the bubble sheet, right? Now in O level, you are getting a bubble sheet, you know, like this, right? I will say question number 25, you get a bubble sheet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we'll say that you have marked, that is why first mark using a pencil, Lama, easy, no? But if you mark using a pencil too, and now if you want to change this answer, you can do something like this. You can cut it over vertically, and then you can cross the 4. That is how that you do. In order to reduce the mistakes, make sure that you use a pencil and later, yes, full T format, Atib. Sorry, later that you correct it using your, later that you mark it using your pen. Right. Any other question? Now, Lamai, within this time, you have to keep your phone away, all the distractions away, because you have a target. If you, right, if you believe that you can do, Lamai, you can just let off go your distractions and do this. Science theory and do the past paper, it's different. When I study the science theory and do the past paper, it's different. No, right? Now, for example, I can't remember much about science. Now, biosphere lesson is there, right? The structured question number 1. Now, biosphere, whatever the question they ask you is from the theory, but the way how it is applied is different. Am I clear? Now, they will not ask you what is biosphere. They will ask in a different way. They will apply it for a scenario sometimes. Okay, Shahid, they will apply for a scenario. I would suggest is go for a good paper class in the last 2 months, right? So where you can identify the way of writing the answers. So any other question? So any other question that you ask, Lamai, out of my personal experience only that I'm explaining this. Therefore, let me know any questions that you have. Any question that you have, just let me know. Yes, Shahid. So is it too late to join a paper class now? Too late, too early, you can't think, no? Now at least try to go for a paper class for the last 2 months. Okay. So is there any suggestion for first language Tamil? Teachers. For first language Tamil, during our time, we had a good teacher. I think, I can't remember. I think he's from Kilinochchi. Uh, there's a YouTube channel also of him. I can't remember that. Okay. But don't know whether he's doing classes now. There were two teachers, good teachers during my time. Now both of them are not doing the classes. Okay. Now just ask in the groups for suggestions. They will recommend. So even if the school and classes haven't done the syllabus, we have to do it ourselves. Yes, even if the school and classes haven't done, only option is you have to do that. Right? You have to do that. No any other option. Am I clear? Fix maths and science, just go through the DP education and all. Right? It happened to me also, Lamai, in few subjects where the class also haven't completed. That I did was that. Now, how much early your class finish the syllabus, Lamai, you can do more and more questions. But if still in your classes they are doing the theory, then that's the issue. Right? At least you have to do it by yourself. So any other question? Yeah, loyal publication is good. Right? Loyal publication is not good. Right? Even for Tamil, not for Tamil. For science, I think I had loyal publication. Past papers answers are normally correct because the thing is, Umar, when it comes to past papers, they put whatever the things they are in the official scheme, no? But if you can download the official scheme also, that is good. Alright? Yeah, let me know, Lamai. Any questions? No, any other question, no? Sorry? Memorizing, mainly you can do the questions and memorize. If not, if for some people getting short notes are also fine. They can do like that. Right? For memorizing you can do something like that, right? So like this, Lamai, now today you memorize the grade 10 5 units. Tomorrow you have to just go through a little bit for around 10 minutes, just roam here and there. If not, you will learn all the things. And so it's like filling water to a bottle where there's a very big hole where you fill it, then it off, or that it flows away, right? That is how that you need to do. Okay. If you missed one day of the schedule, next day you have to do the previous day work, can only move on. Okay, Kristen. Right? Have I left the day's middle? Where? Got it. No? No, all the days are there, no? From January 2nd to February 15th. Okay, Nafa. January 2nd to February 15th. Okay? Right, understood. Now, someone has joined using a different name and asked me a question in order to prove my results. Now what you'll have to do is, Lamai, a channel is there, no? Go through the channel. I have put my result sheet with the index number. Am I clear? I have put the result sheet with the index number. All the subjects A pass with my ID number, with my index number. Just go and check. Hurry, anyone who is watching this video, can be other teachers or someone, just go through that. Am I clear? Right? Because the biggest issue for most of the people is, Lamai, not everyone. There are really good teachers and all. They don't care what others do. Personally, that I don't care what others do. But there are people who are trying to do something for others, right? Try to throw mud. Actually, Lamai, those mud, they can't throw that. Am I clear? When I was starting the class in 2021, it was like successful, but now it is not successful. Hari, now we are in a level where mud will also not reach us. Hari, when it comes to history class, I had the highest number of students for seminar, for classes, paper class and everything. Therefore, that is really impossible. And I have done my level best from my side. And I think that I have done a responsibility for the students, right? And always motivating for 9A. That's it. Did you understand? So always motivating for 9A lamai because I got it. If I did not get it, I won't speak like this now. Right? 9A, if I did not get it, I can't speak to others. Since I got that only lamai, that I am motivating for you all. Right? I'm doing a final seminar. Okay, I'll be doing a final seminar, Shahid, and mock paper classes are going on. If you want that, you can join for that also. Right? Therefore, lamai, that 9A is important, right? So why it is important now? Some teachers say not 9A is important, a good result is important. For me, Lamai, less than 9A, anything is not a good result, right? Because on the day when the results are getting released, right? Now someone gets a 9A and you get a 8AB, more than your 8AB, the value is for 9A. Did you all understand? There's nothing called good result. There's only 9A or bad result, according to me. So that is why that I wish you, that I motivate you, that I want you, right? That I want all of you to get a 9A. Am I clear? Definitely that you all can lamai. Hari. Therefore, if you have any question, let me know and make sure that your final target is somehow do this nicely and get a 9A. So once you follow this plan, right, I hope that you will follow. People are watching the recording also, just underline. If you have done 2016, underline, highlight, 17, highlight, 18, highlight. Now this entire document, get a printout and highlight this. If you can highlight this at the end of February 15, just drop me a picture of your highlighted document and I will be really happy, because this is the plan which took me for a 9A. This is the plan which took me for a 3A to get a district rank and enter into the one and only faculty in Sri Lanka, which is the law faculty. Did you all understand, Lamai? And definitely that you all can do, that you all must do. That's it. Right. Then since you all don't have any questions, we will wind up with here. Right. Let me know, Lamai, how was the session and was it useful? If possible, just drop a WhatsApp message also. This is the number. Right. Just let me know how was the session today. Now tell me, Lamai, was it useful? Was it useful? Now, some of my class students are also there. Outside students are also there. Definitely, a lot of people will watch the recording. That's the right. Yes, I got the maximum benefit from your class. Thank you very much. Everyone give me a feedback. Barakallah, very informative. Inshallah, make duas. Yes, definitely. It was very useful. Thank you. Most welcome. Superb, sir. But idea. I hope I can do it. Yes, definitely. Yes, inshallah. Right. Yes, obviously. As always, your words are better. Thank you very much. So today's session is really useful. So you motivated me. So it was superb and motivated. It will work towards, I will work towards it. Definitely, right? Alright. Really useful, most welcome. Alright. Then Lamai, finally, that I wish you, that I want you, that I motivate you in order to get a 9A. Right? Thanks for joining.